Welcome to this video, which is going to be an interview with a very successful Norwegian Forex trader. His name is Hakkon, and we'll be joining him in a moment. Just before we do, just a little bit of background. Featured in the Norwegian Financial Times. Basically started trading when he was just 16. By the time he was 19, he was on the eToro social trading platform and built up a following, several thousand traders, and provided trading signals on about $2.5 million in equity. In the time he was doing it, provided a fantastic performance with relatively low drawdowns as well. Now, I've always maintained that social platforms, most of the traders or copy traders, quickly blow themselves up or have too much drawdown. Hakon is definitely the exception to that. Also worked as a Forex broker. Now he's got his own company, which is shortly going to launch a regulated Forex fund. Now, in terms of Hakon, he's one of the original subscribers to our YouTube channel, and we've been chatting quite frequently, and I thought it'd be just a good idea to interview him because he's got some fantastic tips and advice for beginners, especially coming in the markets, and for traders not really making the profits that they want to make. Now, in terms of Hakon and myself, we'll be doing some joint educational material. If you want details of it when we do it, you just simply click and join the free mailing list on the link beneath this video. Now, what we'll do now is we'll go and chat to Hakon. And I'm just going to say one thing before we do. I made a slight error when we were doing the video. I left my mouse on the camera screen, so you'll see a little yellow dot for I think about 45 seconds. It will disappear. My apologies for that. Now let's go over and join Hakon. Coming on.
No problem.
I just want to share your experience of trading with our viewers. I just gave a little bit of an introduction to you, and you started trading at a very early age, 16.
Yes.
Just tell me how you got into trading first of all.
Very early on, I got interested in stocks, actually. I was about 16, and I traded some stocks, not in my own account because you have to be 18 to trade. So I just started very early on in stocks, and at that time, at 16 years old, I didn't have that much capital to to trade with. But then I realized that in Forex you can basically use leverage up to 100, 200 times, which I found a bit interesting. So I basically got into Forex that way because I liked the leverage part of it to begin with.
So how did it go, the actual trading?
It was, to be honest, pretty horrible. I made probably every mistake a trader can make. I did. Very emotional, too much leverage, way too much leverage. I traded with no plan. I didn't have a strategy. I, just traded random, and I lost money actually. So my first experience was not a profitable experience.
So what changed everything around for you?
Well, after a while from losing, I decided I was going to buy a book about trading, and the book I first bought was the Market Wizards book, which is a fantastic book.
Yeah,
really.
It's one of the best actually, I think.
Yeah, and what I realized is all these traders are successful. All of them have different strategies, but the thing they have in common is the mindset and the right trading psychology. So for me, I realized that the real key really is the right mindset in trading, and not necessarily what kind of strategy or what kind of system you're using.
I totally agree with you on this, because I've always said, that psychology is the key. Yeah. Anyone can do it, but it's very difficult to get the right mindset for most people, and then kind of maintain it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'd say that mindset is possibly more important than the actual method.
Exactly, and a bit of my experience. I don't have that much trading experience myself because I'm pretty young, but I have some experience in watching other people. I've done that for many years. And in my experience, academics, people that have high education, like engineers, lawyers, usually make pretty bad traders because they are very stubborn and they're sometimes a bit arrogant, and they really, really don't like to take losses. And you have to take losses in trading, and you have to be wrong a lot.
So egos come into play, obviously, and
Exactly.
I suppose engineers, they like to be really mechanical and believe the market moves to set patterns and so forth. No, I
Exactly.
mean, I've had a similar experience. I always find that, you know, educated people are not necessarily going to be successful, and
Correct.
on the whole, tend when they start to be, like, say, horrible traders. So I know you worked as a broker. I'm going to talk about your eToro experience in a minute, but you worked as a broker as well afterwards, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And I worked as a currency broker for 12 months. And, it was a great experience because you basically get to see what many, many other traders are doing, and what kind of people uh, succeed and what kind of people fail.
What traders stood out for you that made money?
Everyday people, very humble, wasn't arrogant, and they took losses early on. They didn't, they wasn't afraid to take losses, and they were just really humble. And
What sort of professions did you find?
I had a taxi driver as a
Okay.
client who was a fantastic trader. Another guy, he worked in construction, excellent trader. And I had an engineer who was not a good trader. So it just goes to show.
And you said something interesting to me the other day, which you said women make good traders.
Yeah, uh, one of the best traders, forex traders I have met was actually a woman, and I believe that they are just naturally less arrogant and don't have the same ego as many men have.
Less testosterone.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you also told me an interesting story about a lady who did really well, and then things kind of went wrong for not, which wasn't her fault.
Yeah, I had a client who have traded for quite some time, and he got his girlfriend into trading as well, and she got her own account and she started trading. Very basic trading, not very basic technical analysis. She did really well. I think she doubled her account in like 6 or 7 months, which was amazing performance. And by that time, the equity of the account was beginning to be pretty high as well. And at that time, the boyfriend, the guy, said, now it's time for me to to be in charge, to take over here, to really take it to the next level. But I think it took 3 months maybe, and almost the whole account was gone. So
Did
it
they
just goes.
did they stay together? I was going to, or maybe they split up.
I'm not sure.
Now, I've always found women actually make great traders. Just go back to your eToro experience, yeah, because obviously you've got a big following, and yeah, there was millions in equity that was following your signals. Just tell us a little about the experience you had and why you basically stopped doing it.
Well, my experience really in the beginning was quite well. eToro is a great learning platform, I believe, and but after a while, when you get to many hundreds or even thousands of people who basically invest in you, and the pressure, it's really there because let's say if I make a good trade, I get five guys saying good job. If I make a bad trade, I get 50 guys saying, what are you doing?
Now, I've had that experience as well. But what sort of performance did you have when you were at eToro? Because it was pretty good, wasn't it? Obviously, 'cause you had a lot of followers.
Yeah, I started in July, I believe, and in December I had around, I think 85, around that. 85%.
85%?
Yeah.
And in terms of drawdown, what sort of drawdown did you experience?
I think the max drawdown on the account was 22%. Yeah.
That's not bad at all, actually, in terms of growth to drawdown. It's excellent. Now, I hear you're actually setting up a fund as well.
Yeah, basically, I'm working with the paperwork still and working on the setup. But if everything goes to plan, I will have a Forex fund, a very conservative fund, by the summer or the fall, and it will not be a high risk fund. It will be more very conservative. Just look at the big fundamentals and basic, technical analysis. So. Yeah,
Okay.
hopefully this summer it will be launched.
Okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to your site beneath this video so people can go and have a look at the site, because you've got some education there, obviously, for beginners and so forth. And when the fund comes up, obviously, you can look at that as well. Now, one thing I was going to ask you is your actual strategy.
Yeah.
What is it exactly? I mean, in terms of just the basics of your strategy.
Yeah, I use a mix between fundamental and technical analysis.
Okay.
It's very basic, really. I use what's called the COT indicator, commitment of traders, and I look at the big fundamentals for countries. And if I see that the commercials are really getting building up longs or short as opposed to the non-commercials, I look for a technical sign. I use very basic technical analysis like support resistance, double and triple tops and bottoms, RSI, moving averages.
Yeah.
And I use basically the technical analysis to confirm my fundamental view, and I try to be on the same side as the commercials, not the non-commercials.
Yeah, I mean, we're big fans, obviously, of the Commitment of Traders report here, as regular viewers will know.
Yeah.
For me, I think if you have the Commitment of Traders, that really changes, how would I put it, the strategy performance, if that makes sense. You do much better when you've got them backing you up.
Fantastic tool, and I really encourage people that start using it, because it's such a great tool, and for me it gives me more confidence to hold on to trades as well and not take profits too early because I use the COT. So I really recommend that too.
Yeah, because I think with the COT, with pure technical analysis, you can't project a big target.
Yes.
Whereas with the COT, you can, and you're not tempted to snatch the profit in too quickly.
Exactly.
Just one thing I was going to ask you, what's the average length of a trade that you take?
Before, when I first started trading and when I lost money, I was basically day trading. My views on day trading has changed. I believe it's... in lack of a better word, nonsense.
I agree with you.
I really don't believe in it, and I believe that the reason people are buying into this idea that you can day trade the foreign exchange market is basically brokers and other educators that have agreements, IB agreements with brokers, who promotes this, because when a trader day trades, he makes a lot of commission for the broker. So I believe that, and also, of course, there's a lot of noise in the market, random movements.
It's just random, yeah.
Yeah. So just having a more longer term approach, I believe, will increase your odds by succeeding by a lot. So me personally, I usually trade with a time horizon between 2 weeks to 2 or 3 months.
Okay, so basically you're position trading.
Yeah, and if I see some good opportunities, I swing trade as well.
Okay. Now, just was going to ask you, what would be your advice to anyone coming in the markets? Yeah, beginners.
Well, as a beginner to Forex, you will find a lot of information. Much of it is great information, but the majority is not that good information. So My advice to those who are new in the market is to learn the very basics of trading first, and then invest in books and start reading about Forex, start reading about what kind of traders succeed, for example, the Market Wizard books,
Yeah.
and educate yourself on trading psychology, because it is my opinion that success in trading really is 90% psychology and 10% method. So,
Yeah, I know. I'd agree with you on that, because I think a lot of traders, I'm just going to stress it for beginners, just do not realise how important psychology is,
exactly.
because it's the hardest bit.
And
Sorry.
you know, and it's so many bright people in this world. And if knowledge really was the key to trading success, there will be a lot more people succeeding. So it just goes to show that it's not knowledge really that makes a trader
No, it is
successful.
going to be self-knowledge, obviously, because the
Yeah,
statistic remains the same, doesn't it? 90% of traders always lose money. Now, you mentioned books, okay, which is one thing that I've always found surprising in Forex is people will go and pay, someone for education, okay,
yeah,
who isn't a trader, okay, and they're pretty obvious the ones that aren't. But they don't go and buy books and read about the great traders. I mean, you mentioned Market Wizards.
yeah.
What other books did you like, or had an influence on you?
I think the best beginner book for forex trading is it's called A Three-Dimensional Approach to Forex Trading by Anna Coling, I believe.
Yeah,
It's a great book. I recommend it for all beginners. If you have some experience already and still not profitable, I encourage to start reading about trading psychology. And the books I recommend is uh, I think it's called The Disciplined Trader by Mark Douglas,
yeah,
and Trading in the Zone, also by
yeah.
Mark
It is
Douglas.
Mark Douglas. Yeah,
Yeah, and Trade with Passion and Purpose is also a great book.
that's by Mark Whistler, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good book as well.
and
Sorry,
just it's also a book that it's called The Popular Delusion and Madness of Crowds.
by
It's
Charles Mackay.
yeah.
It's one of my favourites as well, actually. Why do you like that book?
Well, it's basically just go to show that the market psychology is the same as it was for, I don't know, 200 years ago. So it the markets stay the same because the people always change. So uh, I try to draw some conclusions from that time to today. So
Yeah,
uh, I think it's a great book,
no, I
and
agree with you. I think it's a fantastic book, actually. So, anything else? I mean, when I'm a firm believer in that. When you come in the markets, everyone is bound to make mistakes, not be put off. Do you agree with that?
yeah, and really the only way to learn the importance of discipline and risk management is, it's really to take a big loss and blow your account. So, uh, so don't be disencouraged because you lose in the beginning, because trading is a learning process, and as long as you learn from your failures or mistakes in trading and correct them, you have a good chance of succeeding, I believe.
I agree with you as well there, actually. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We'll obviously do a few more videos on in-depth subjects like psychology and so forth. But what I'll do, like I said, is I'll put a link under the video so traders can go to your site and check out the info. And we'll obviously speak again soon. And thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.